Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So for today's head-to-head comparison, we're taking a look at the 2024 Lexus IS500 F Sport and the latest generation for the BMW M340i. Both of these are luxury brand sedans that have a lot of performance and a lot of goodies to go over. So let's start off with the MSRPs and the performance for both of these. So for the Lexus, this has a starting MSRP right around $64,000. And this is powered by the 5-liter naturally aspirated V8. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and pumps out 472 horsepower, 395 pound-feet of torque. For the M340i, this has a starting MSRP at $58,000, so a little bit less expensive, but of course with options, they can be similarly spec'd. This has a 3-liter inline turbo 6, paired to an 8-speed automatic, pumping out 382 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. So slightly less. However, we do have curb weights of 3,900 pounds and just under 4,000 pounds. 0 to 60 is going to be 4.5 seconds for the Lexus and 3.7 for that BMW. So it is slightly quicker. And then as far as fuel economy goes, you're looking at 17 and 25 for the Lexus, and then 23 and 31 for the BMW. So you do have some more MPG or better figures for the BMW. Now, as we work our way to the exterior styling, they have completely different front ends. We have the hourglass design for the Lexus with the sensor, that's the Lexus badge itself, LED lights, of course, and some nice lines that come down the hood. But over on the BMW, we have the classic kidney design with the active grille shutters, forward camera, plenty of cutouts in the lower section, and then a few lines running down the hood. LED lights, of course, up front too. So we have the same features, we just have completely different designs. Now for the side, for the Lexus, this has a special appearance package. So it does have an upgraded set of wheels. We have the camera and turn signals on the mirrors, power folding for the BMW with a camera and a turn signal as well. And we have some nice lines running down both sides. They are nearly identical with some of the lines they do have. The Lexus does have this one in the lower section here, which the BMW does not have. But overall, they are fairly similar with some of their lines, especially the roof, where we do have a sunroof on both of them. So a little bit different with some of the lines, but again, almost identical, just being a sedan. They have very similar dimensions too. And then in back, we have the backup camera, all of the sensors, dual exhaust, you have the diffusers in the middle. The BMW is also going to offer remote start. You do not get that with the Lexus here, but you have the backup camera, all the sensors, a little bit different of a design for the quad tip dual exhaust with some fins in that lower diffuser as well, and a larger rear trunk spoiler for the Lexus versus this BMW. But let's work our way to the cargo space now. We have a lot of space for the BMW. You can also fold down these back seats to give yourself more room. There's no storage underneath the floor. We have some bins on both sides. So very practical for an everyday style sedan. Over on the Lexus, you do get a spare tire underneath the floor. No storage on both sides, but you could use that for additional space if needed, and the back seats do fold down. Now, when you fold these back seats down, there is a step up to get to the flat backing of the seat. So a little bit in the way compared to on the BMW, where it's going to be completely flat. But as we work our way to the back seats, there is a setting where you can unlock this from the back door handle. So that is currently not set up at the moment. But once we are in the back at 5'10", I have plenty of space. We have climate adjustments, we have storage pockets. There's also the armrest that provides you with cup holders. You can fold down this middle seat individually too. So if you need to gain access into the back, I have about an inch or so above my head. So it's pretty spacious. You could have 3 people back here very comfortably. We have brushed aluminum interior lighting as well, which is a nice accent. And then as we make our way to the IS500, I will say it is a little bit more snug in the back. All we have are air vents. There's no climate adjustments or anything. We have this big pillar right in the middle there that your middle seat passenger would have to step over. You do have the armrest with cup holders that come off of the end there. You cannot fold the middle down. It is a 60-40 split if you want to fold these seats down. And then we do have some nice blue stitching, some brushed aluminum accents, and about the same headroom for the back seat space. So it's virtually identical with a few differences. But let's work our way to the front seat now for this Lexus. Now, I will have full reviews of both of these vehicles down in the description below if you want to see everything in greater details. I'm just going to skim through it today. Now, for the steering wheel, very nice design. We have a lot of audio controls and gauge cluster controls that you can go through. So you have some features for this Lexus that you can quickly go through, a lot of tech features, and you can pull up some more info on that left side or have that tack front and center. So that's all the configurability that you get. We have the distance pacing and cruise control, paddle shifters too. There's a rear sunshade, and for the Lexus 360 camera, you have 2 different angles to see everything around you, which is nice to have, but that is all that you can do for those. And then for the rest of this screen, if we go back to a menu, it is a touchscreen system, or you can use the trackpad down below. So again, not a whole lot of tech, but it's nice that you have what you need to use on a daily basis. And it does have a split screen style. So you can put some info on that right side if you need to. And that's pretty much it. You have Bluetooth, your phone, setup, climates. That's pretty much all you need to daily drive. Now you have a clock, air vents, CD player too, all of your physical buttons for your climates, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, and there are a few driving modes too. And they will change the exhaust note as well as your throttle input too. We have a snow mode, we have the backup camera, traditional backup camera. This model also does have a forward-facing camera. You can set it on auto, so that way it will pop up in slower speed situations. And we have auxiliaries in the armrest there and plenty of space in the glove box. This also has a sunroof too, which is great. Now the BMW, I also forgot, has some upgraded brakes with the M Sport package, and the Lexus with the F Sport package does provide it with a little bit different of an exhaust as well. Almost forgot. We're checking out the front now, where we have the lighting, we have these side mirrors, which are power folding, you have memory seats, which was available over on the Lexus. But for the interior on the BMW, we definitely have a lot more technology. Steering wheel is going to be upgraded with the M Sport steering wheel. We have cruise control, no adaptive cruise on this model, however that is an option. And then we have some controls on the right side for the digital gauge cluster. Now there's a few more things that you can configure compared to the Lexus. You still have a bunch of content that you can go through, just like on the Lexus. However, you have a few layouts, which is kind of a gimmick, just depending on how you like to see that. But this also has a head-up display, and you have a few different settings that you can go through as needed. So a little bit more configurability to it. We have the paddle shifters, even a heated steering wheel, which was on the Lexus there. We have headlight controls, more lighting, and then for the center screen, we have a lot more that we can go through. So if we go into home, and again, I'll have a review down in the description if you'd like to see this in greater details, but you have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, you have a lot that you can go through. And I do like the user interface with this touchscreen a lot more than the Lexus. It is a touchscreen system, but it's just not as easy, in my opinion, to use as the BMW here. We have your temperature dials, you can get into your heated seats, your climates, everything like that. And then you do get controls down below to use it not as a touchscreen. And again, I think you have a little bit easier time using all of these than over on the Lexus. So you have air vents, no CD player, you have volume, you get wireless charging, some cup holders and auxiliaries. And then let's take a look at the camera system. So we do have the 3D view where we can pull that up. It's currently seeing the Lexus right next to us, but it's very similar to that diagram that plays on the Lexus. However, you can actually pinpoint your different angles that you'd like to see, as well as pulling up the forward-facing camera too. So again, I think it's just a little bit easier to use. You have different driving modes as well, just like on the Lexus. And then we have the e-brake, one auxiliary in the center armrest there, and then plenty of space in that glove box. There's also the sunroof, just like you saw over on the Lexus there. So we do have some pretty major differences between both of these luxury brands. But now it is time to get both of these out on the road, see how they drive, how they compare. Let's start off behind the wheel of the Lexus. And as we set off behind the wheel for the IS500 F Sport first, we will give it a mild acceleration where this definitely has a good sound to it. With that NA V8, you really can't go wrong with that engine. It's going to be very reliable and give you that good sound. Now, as far as this being a performance style sedan, we have the F Sport package, which does give it that upgraded suspension, so you can take it around some of these turns, and it handles incredibly well. It's a super planted vehicle. It's not something that I would say has an overkill or that next level of performance for it as far as handling goes compared to the BMW, as you will see here soon. But it's something that would be a great daily driver, and it gives you those sporty characteristics so that you can take it on some back roads, take it to the track, things like that, just to give you that added sporty character to it. And as far as driving it, visibility is super easy to see. We have thin pillars here. It's something that would make for a great daily driver and a vehicle that doesn't have a crazy amount of tech. You saw all the tech in the gauge cluster there, but as far as everything here goes, it's very on the simple side, but easy to use. And with another acceleration, we'll get up to speed. Shifts are pretty quick too, so it's nice that they are very responsive to go through that transmission. And it's very comfortable too. I don't have any complaints with it. Seats are very nice. We have some nice materials on the inside. There's some plastic up on the dash there and on the door panel itself. But aside from that, very nice materials, even with the back section here. It's a nice place to be. All right, behind the wheel of the 340i now. As we get up to speed, I think it still has a really good exhaust note to it. Not quite like that V8, but we have a little bit quicker of a car, which is interesting to see. We have all-wheel drive for this model versus rear-wheel drive for the Lexus. But with these paddles, super responsive. And it's got a good tone to it. It's got a little bit of a burble in that exhaust, which is nice. But behind the wheel now for the BMW, right off the bat, I would say it's obvious, but it's a lot more up to date or more modern, I would say, especially with this all new screen. A lot of people don't like it. I personally think it looks pretty good. You can also get some older models that have the split screen, so if you're not into the newer technology. But again, that's why you have some other options like the Lexus. If you don't want some of this newer looking technology and all of the information, we have the new shifter too, so a lot different than in the Lexus. But as far as driving this, it's going to be very identical as far as being a luxury brand. So the ride is nice, the overall comfort is nice, it's quiet aside from being able to hear that exhaust. We've driven the 340s quite a lot too, and they handle very, very well. So this is something that I will say is going to give you more sporty or even more sporty characteristics over the Lexus model. But visibility is going to be virtually identical with all of the glass and everything. They're both honestly going to be great daily drivers. And personally, I do like this interior a little bit more, but I do like that V8 a little bit more too. So you've got options, which is nice. And now that we're back from both test drives between the BMW M340i and the Lexus IS500 F Sport, honestly, it really just depends on which one you like better. Personally, I think I would go with the BMW just because I like a little bit more of the technology available. However, I am a fan of that naturally aspirated V8, especially with this blue. It's really hard to not want to go with this Lexus behind me. But both of these are very identical in their dimensions, everything that I've gone over today. And I think it just boils down to which one you prefer. Do you want a little bit more tech? Do you want that V8 with a little bit less tech, but still somewhat user-friendly? and maybe a little bit more reliable. Now, BMW is second behind Toyota and Lexus, so you will get two reliable luxury-focused sedans, and just depends also on your pricing too. You can spec out the 340 to be more expensive than the IS500, just depending on the options that you go with. So there's a lot more that you can get for this package compared to the Lexus, where you can also get a 350 F Sport if you don't want to spend quite that much money. But that is going to wrap it up for our head-to-head comparison with the Lexus IS500 F Sport and the BMW M340i. Comment down below, let me know which luxury brand you would go with and why. Check out the separate full reviews of both of these as well. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.